Okay, so I'll first quickly check what we had covered in the previous session, and then we can probably look at what all we can cover for today. Okay, so I think these were some things that we had covered in the previous session. Normal select queries, then count distinct of a particular column, then order by and order by in both descending and ascending order. Then we can also select minimum of a query, maximum of a query, of a particular column, right? Then we can look as condition for filtering using where operator and other than that and operator if we have to take multiple conditions. And these are just expressions for, these are just logical operators for greater than, less than. Now similarly, between operator we had seen, and between operator is inclusive of this starting and ending values as well, like this, starting and ending values. Then we can do kind of a sum of a particular column where for a specific filtered data set. So we were trying to look at a particular table and we're trying to query that particular table for different conditions. All right, so this is consisting. Then we looked at group by, and after group by how to put order by and then put it in descending order, right? Then other than that, in the group by statement itself, if we want to filter it, the group data set, then we'll have to use the having query. We cannot use where. We can probably use where just before it, but after it, like if you have to filter the group data set, then in that case we use having query, and then after that we can use order by on this filtered data set. Then we looked at like operator. If you put percentage in the starting and the last, then it just gives us all the values. If we just put in this after, then it will only give the values which are starting with. This will give values which have an anywhere in them. Okay. Then this will give the values which end with n. Then this one gives the value where there is something in the first place and then the second letter is A. Similarly, this gives where the first letter is S. So like this, we had seen some example. Then we looked at the in operator, and in operator, what it does is for more than one values, it with the where clause we use it, and we look at more than one values here. Then there is not operator, which is basically not in. Then similarly, we have null and not null values returning like this, null and not null. This is used for not equal to. Similarly, here we have used not equal to, and here we are just averaging it a particular population. And there are further operators like this. So we had covered a lot of basic things in this, and let me just add a new query here. And for today's session, we'll try to look at the intermediate SQL. So first I'll just familiarize with you this platform. This platform is Mode Analytics platform. You can just keep writing your queries here. And once you write in your queries, you can just press Control plus Enter and it will run the queries. It's a public database. It's a public warehouse. You can practice your SQL queries here and you can look at these tables. Only thing is that you cannot create tables here, but creating table is just a single line statement. Let's say if you are selecting this particular query, just before it, you can probably write create table, count city S, and after that whatever your query is. So only this part, and you cannot create a table here, but let's say if you're working for a company, or and let's say if you're working in the MySQL, then probably you can create a table there itself. All right. Okay. So yeah, this is this is the interface, and here you have different tables which you can query. You can you can use the same syntaxes, similar kind of syntaxes on different columns, and you can try to practice along here in this environment. And they have their own tutorials as well. So I had showed you the tutorials in the previous session. I'll just close the, yeah. So yeah, this is their tutorials by Mode Analytics. This basically it tells you a brief idea of what is SQL, how do I pronounce SQL, and all of that. Then other than that, it gives how do you start using it. So one of you had actually asked how to use it, so I'll just tell you. Just go to Mode Analytics and just open it, and once you sign in here, you will look at so I'll just click on the sign in here. I'll just open something like this. So until here, I think you would have reached. From here, what you have to do is on the right hand side top, you have this plus sign here. So on this plus sign, this new report, you just have to click here, and it'll just create a report for you. Just say like creating new report. It'll create a report for you. Here you can start writing your whatever queries are there. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is that. Then other than that, this is basic SQL. So in basic SQL, you have this select limit, where limit is for limiting the number of rows, as we have used here limit 5. We'll just make it limit 6, and if I'll just run it again, it will give me the same table, but it will give me 6 rows instead of 5. Okay, 6 rows it is giving. Then we saw the where condition, comparison operators. Comparison operators are nothing but your this equal to, not equal to, these ones. Okay. Then there are logical, like, between, is null, and, or, not, or by. So this is your basic SQL we covered last session. Then even for the intermediate SQL, they're like aggregate functions, count, sum, min, max, average. So all of this we have seen, right? We also have seen group by, we have seen having, we have seen distinct. Let's try to focus at case statements, and let's try to focus at joins. What are the different types of joins here? Joins with comparison operators, joins on multiple keys, self joins, left, outer, inner. Okay, because usually you will not be having just one table, you'll be having multiple tables, and you'll have to work along with them. So joins are very necessary before even putting all the different basic and other intermediate queries. All right. So this joins, and distinct is basic distinct, distinct month, distinct year, comma month. So if you want on 2 particular columns, then you can use this. So let's first look at distinct, then we'll look at case, and then we'll complete the joins part. Okay. So I'll just give a heading is session 2. Okay, so here they just have taken this particular table, and let me just first select star from this particular table. Well, let's keep it in a different window. Yeah. Okay. Let me just limit it to 5. One more thing is that if by default it limits it to 100. So if you want the entire table to get output, then you just click on unselect this specific one. Okay. Limit is new feature. No, limit is not a new feature. Limit is old feature only. You can give limit 50 or 60 or anything. It will just give you the number of rows. Let me just give limit 2. So it'll just give me 2 rows. So it's just for limiting the number of rows. Okay. Now, yeah, so this is what I was saying. Like by default in mode, they have put a limit here so that like if you are just querying on larger tables, then automatically there is a limit of 100 rows, but you can put further limit on it. Anyway, so this is, you have date column, year column, month, open, high, low. There are a lot of numerical columns here, then volume and ID. Now, if I just have to select year, comma, month from it, first let me put a limit of a larger limit here, and let me look at it how it looks like. So we have 2014. A lot of values are there from 2014 itself. Okay. So if I just select a distinct of year from it, then it'll just give me a list of all the distinct year in this, and we have like this. So I can further order it by year itself. So from minimum it will start. By default it is an ascending order. So there are 15 rows starting from 2000, should go to 2014. Now the same thing, I'll just do year comma month here, and I'll just run it. So it'll select distinct year and month, both of them will be distinct selected. Okay. So this is year, and then I want to order this one as well. If you can see that the month is not ordered here, so I use the same order by here on year and month both. So 2000 has 1 till 12, similarly 2001 has 1 till 12. So like this I can see, like this I can see. Or I can just do year and just do a count of this month. Okay. Here I'll just order it by year, and I'll just group by year itself. So for each of the year, it will just show me. I'm assuming that for each year, each of the 15 years, there should be 12 values, but I'm just trying to confirm my assumption by just checking it, by just grouping it by. What does order by do? Order by just sorts the data. Okay. So year, and then there are 252 values. So it basically tells that there are total number of these many rows for this particular column. Obviously the month cannot be 252 in a particular year. So I just put distinct. Yeah. So I'm just doing distinct like this. So yeah, you can see each of the year have around 12 columns. For 2014, we just have the first month of data. On the ascending descending part, let me just tell again. So let's say this is select distinct I'm doing, right? So if I just do select distinct here, and I'm just ordering it by year only for now. So it'll order by year, it'll start from 2000, but these months you can see they're not in order. So I can give two conditions here, year comma month, and it'll first order by year, then it'll order by month like this. Now this month part, if I want to just make it descending, I can just make it like this and take the year part as itself, but the month part will put in descending order like this. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is your basic distinct. Can I write distinct between the projection column? Select year, distinct comma month. I think ideally, no, actually you cannot. I mean, I can show you as well. Because see, you are first selecting all the values of year, and then you're trying to select distinct values of your month column, right? So the number of rows wouldn't match up. I mean, whenever you use distinct, right, it does distinct of both of them together. So it will basically give an error. So basically it will take these both of these two columns and together it will try to dedupe it. Like let's say you're doing it in Excel. So you select both the columns and then you click on remove duplicates, right? So in a similar way, you just click on the distinct here, right, distinct before here, and it takes distinct of both of them. Okay. Okay. Cool. So I'll just give a heading here, distinct. Okay. Cool. Then yeah, this count distinct month we saw, we did a count of it. Then okay, let's try to look at this particular query. Okay, before running it, let me just run this first part again so that we have an idea of whatever different columns we have. So we have date, year, month, open, high, low, close, volume, and all of that. These is stock prices data. So this is the low value on this particular year, month, on this particular date as well, right? So this select month, average of volume. So it's selecting month, then it's selecting, like let's say over the years by month if they just have to calculate irrespective of year column. Okay, then they're just taking average of this volume. What is the volume in January or let's say in February over the years total, and they're just taking average of it. So average volume across the years in January, right? They're just calling it as average trade volume. Same table, grouping by month, order by 2. Okay, so try to look at it. If I'll just put it this one here, it will give me error. Okay, the reason is that, okay, let me just first run it. Okay, I think here it won't give, but if I'll just put some filter data, in that case it usually gives. So if I'll just probably put a filter here, in that case it usually gives an error. But yeah, thing is that either you give this or you can give 2 or you can give 1 also. Okay, so what this 1 or 2 means is that the first column and then the second column. If you look at here, first column, second column. Here if you'll see that the data is not sorted by the month. So if I just do order by 1 instead of 2, then it will get sorted by month. In descending order, you can also write ASC. So we'll put it in ascending order. Okay. Okay. So yeah, there are some practice problems. If you're just following the tutorials from here itself, then you can practice problems here itself. But yeah, just try to practice on different tables instead of the same table, so that your concepts are clear around it. Now here I can also do year comma month, and then okay. So if I'm using year comma month here, in that case I'll have to give the same in the group by statement as well. Okay. So now the order by 1, the meaning of 1 here will be year. Okay, so let's say if you have like multiple columns here, right? Let's say you have 6 columns. You cannot just keep putting these 6 columns here, right? Let's say if you have to put some of them in ascending, some of them in descending, so it might get cluttery. So in that case, you just put it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So right now we are just, yeah, I just don't need to put ascending because by default it will take ascending only. Well, if I just run it, it will take year and month, and then by year and month I can look at the average volume. So 2009, this was like this, and I can also make it descending like this. So it will be ordered by 1, and then by year it will be in a basically descending order. So like this. So this is basically kind of the monthly average for this particular year. for different dates. Okay, because there were different dates, right? So this is kind of the monthly average of that, of the trade volume. Okay, so this is your distinct. Now let's look at case statements. So we have seen different kind of we have seen different kind of conditions. We have seen different kinds of operators and how to filter the data at different level, how to sort the data, how to group the data, basically summarize the data. Now let's look at if we want to create a new column, and this new column we want to create based on certain conditions. All right. So for doing that, yeah, this is the case statement, and okay, this is the table that they are using. So inside mode itself, there are multiple databases. One is this visible database, this tutorial one, but then there are other databases as well. So one of them is this Ben, and this is more like of an schema. These are like independent tables. You can't really relate by the name itself. This is historical stock price, the city population, so they might not be related, right? But if you look at these schemas, then these schemas have related tables inside them. Okay, so now this college football players inside this particular database, this is the database, this is the table name. It has what? It has full school name, then it has the school name in like short form, then the player name, their position. So this might be front, backward, center position or something like that. Then this is their height, this is their weight, then this is year, so this may be like junior, then this is sophomore, maybe for, and this for like senior year, something like that. Then these are their hometown, this is their state, so this is just kind of substring of this one, and this is their ID. Okay, so yeah, this is how it looks like. Now let's try to see how they are trying to create a case statement here. So let's try to, okay, I'll just give a heading here first for that. So the heading of case,
Yes.
yeah, case statement, and here, yeah. So the question that someone has asked me, or I can say that the question that I'm trying to answer here is that create a column, which tells whether a student is senior or not. Okay, it's not asking classified senior or junior or anything, whether it is senior or not. Okay, yes or null, or you can also put it as no. So it's totally up to you. Okay, now what exactly is happening here? It's just selecting player name, then it's selecting year. So player name, and it's selecting year, and in year, and then it is trying to write the case when statement. So let me put it in more simpler format. Let me just put it in one line so that in one line you can look at how it looks like. Okay. So this from condition will put it here. This select player name comma year, and this is case when year equal to senior, then yes, else null. So if year is equal to senior, year is equal to senior, in only those cases we'll put it yes, else it will put it as null. Okay, and then you have to name this particular column, right? So you'll just put s, or you can just put in small s as well. So SQL is not case sensitive, so you don't have to worry about that. So see, whenever it is junior, it won't give, it will give null value, sophomore null, null, null. Whenever it is senior, it will keep giving yes. So this way you can kind of take account of it. Okay. Okay, let's try to now create a new column probably from whatever concept we just now have learned. So let's select Okay, so this is the data, and let's try to look at probably let's yeah, let's look at whether the person belongs to Florida or not. Okay, so we can look at probably player column, then and let's say look at ID and state column, and now let's try to create a case statement. So case when state, now let's add some more conditions here. So let's put the in operator, and let's filter for this GA and FL state, both of them, right? And then so those cases when state is this, then it should probably put it as 1 else 0. So you're just kind of creating a binary column. Okay, and then you're just, for ending it, you're just writing end as these are just GFL state, right? So I'm just writing more easily understandable name like states GAFL, right? Now that's it. So we're selecting player ID, then state, so that we can basically validate whether it is correctly creating it or not. And so like this we can create it, right? Now I'll just run it. It should, for whenever the state is in these two, it should give me this one. Okay, so this player is not there. The basically the data name column name is player name. So that's a typo here. So I'll just run it again. Let's give the heading as create a column which else. Yeah. So you look at it here, it is created a states GAFL column. Whenever it is GA, it is 1, KY it is 0, FL 111. For LA, Los Angeles, it is 0, IN it is 0, right? So like this, you can just create a column here. Now, okay. So I think there is a doubt here. Case is basically used to create a column with some conditions. Yeah, basically a column which satisfies particular conditions in your data. So it's not a group by. If you're doing group by, your data summarizes, your number of rows get deleted. But if you're doing case when, then basically your number of rows will remain same. Your number of columns will increase, right? So I'll just write in the rows will increase, columns will remain same. Okay, sorry, rows will remain same. So the columns will increase. Okay, all right. Now here, create a column which tells whether a player belongs to J, FL or not. Okay. Now let's look at some more modifications around it. So in plain English, here is what is happening. The case statement is checking if it is conditionally checking this, then it is creating a new column. Okay, but what if you don't want null values in a column? So yeah, you can, instead of null, you can just type no and it will just give you no. Now here it is adding multiple conditions to a case statement. Okay, so let's look at this. So what is the use case here, like, and what exactly we are trying to do? So we are trying to create a weight group column, and this weight group column will weight our players in different way. All right, so that probably they can decide the diet for each of them in a separate manner by looking at the BMI ratio or something like that. So what they're taking is they're taking player name, they're taking weight, and then they just put this conditional statement. So it's let's say if you're doing working in Python or something or R, then it's just simple like your if else statements for creating a column. So I'll just write as create groups of weight. Okay. So they're taking select player name, then they're taking weight, then they're taking case when weight is greater than 250, then over 250, weight is greater than 200, then this range, then weight is greater than 175. So here you can also write it as, so when it is greater than 250, you can write it like this. You can also write it as when weight is greater than 200 and weight is less than equal to 250. Okay. Since for greater than 250, it is automatically making it 250, so they haven't mentioned it. But it's a good practice to mention both the starting and ending criterias if you're giving a particular range in this. Okay. And similarly here you can write it as and condition. Weight is less than equal to 200, right? And else for all the other cases which do not fall in any of these categories, it'll just put it as 175 or under, and then it will just end it as weight group, and we'll just run it. So again, look at it, player name, weight, and then case when, and then when this, then. Okay. So yeah, you'll just get something like this, column like this. Now in this particular con, if you just want to select for probably 175 or under, and you just put a condition as where weight group equal to this 175 or under. Okay, so for some reason it is not taking it. Okay, so I think probably it will come up when we'll